engages, the way, people like, this is the problem we were having right now with Trump and Biden. Trump, of course, is even more demented and full of dementia.
You said Trump is more dementia than Biden?
Yes.
You didn't just say that. You said the
Trump. Oh, you like Trump more than Biden?
No.
I mean, you can.
In the area of dementia, there's a lot of things you could say. Did you really?
Did you see what Trump said this weekend?
Yeah, the whole thing about Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley.
Right.
But to say dementia between the two, have you look, Biden, you listen to 100 speeches. You can't even, he can't even go through his speeches. How do you feel about Newsom?
Had him on my show Friday.
I saw that.
And I first of all, I love him. You just like a guy or you don't. One reason I want him to run for president, is because he's obviously a winner. Right.
What areas has Newsom won in? You said he's a winner.
Winner of the election. He could win the election.
But based on what, though? Do you want results? Like, what has he done to California to say he's a winner? What?
Oh, God. I don't know. It's too...
Bill, you're a smart
guy. You know what?
guy.
He made it rain, okay, dude? It wasn't raining.
Someone you said that. He said, great job.
It wasn't raining, and now it's raining. So he's got my vote.
Okay,
you know what?
Respect. I mean,
I don't know. I don't follow the news.
Okay, folks. So today we have a pretty big crossover between Bill Maher and Patrick Bet-David. And the reason I say it's such a big crossover is because they are both the hosts of two of the newer, more successful podcasts on the internet. And as much as we make fun of Bill Maher on this channel when he's wrong, I do genuinely think he does a good show. It's entertaining to watch, and that's part of the reason we do so much reaction content to him, because I actually sit down and watch it sometimes, right? But with that said, I do have to say that in many ways, the epic crossover that this was supposed to be was completely and utterly disappointing because, folks, as Bill Maher sometimes tends to do, he never really let Patrick Bet-David get a word in. They were having these debates about certain issues, and Bill Maher would constantly interrupt. Very often, they would just shift the topic, and you would never even get a resolution of the first thing they were talking about. And so in many ways, it was kind of a mess, but regardless, we will watch it. We will react to it as you could expect. And we always sort of talk about, the Trump-Biden debate came up. Patrick Bet-David tried to push back on Bill's TDS a little bit. And they also had this very interesting exchange about Gavin Newsom. And we've talked about in a video before how for some reason Bill constantly complains about wokeness and far left policies on crime and all the stuff that's wrong with California, but he also says he really likes Gavin Newsom and wants Gavin Newsom to run for president. And Patrick called that out and basically broke down, why do you actually like Gavin Newsom? Like, what has he done that you support? And Bill Maher could not answer the question, okay? So we'll get into all of that, but I do need to point out that, yeah, in many ways, this was a little bit of a disappointing podcast in terms of what it could have been. And I don't know what it is with Bill, because on his normal show on HBO, you don't get that feeling that he's constantly cutting off the guests, right? It's a discussion, it's fair, but I don't know if it's because he smokes weed on this podcast and he gets high and that just turns him into where he's like rambling more. Although, listen, I mean, I've never smoked weed. It's one of the few badges of innocence I actually have, but I thought it's supposed to make people more sedated. Like you would think, right? Bill would sit there and be like, oh, really? Yeah, dude. But instead, no, it actually makes him agitated. I have no idea. With that said, we got a lot to react to. So let's get into the first clip here of the Trump-Biden debate. So here you go, folks.
This is the problem we were having right now with Trump and Biden. Trump, of course, is even more demented and full of dementia. But they're around the same. But Biden wears it horribly. He shuffles and he looks fucking old.
Okay, so hold on. So that's the take, if you missed it, is that Trump is more demented and has more dementia than Biden. What planet are you living on? Okay, what you can say Trump is old or he doesn't have the energy he used to. Okay, but what American thinks that Biden, in terms of dementia, is better than Trump in terms of senility? That okay, but let's listen to that.
Dirt.
And Trump is more dementia than Biden?
Yes.
You didn't just say that.
Yeah.
You said the
Trump. Oh, you like Trump more than Biden?
No.
I mean, you can.
In the area of dementia, there's a lot of things you could say. Did you really?
Did you see what Trump said this weekend?
Yeah, the whole thing about Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley.
Right.
And then he, somehow, some way, everybody from the media comes out and says, no, that wasn't Nikki Haley who shut down and controlled security. It was Nancy, Pelosi. But to say dementia between the two, look, Biden listened to 100 speeches,
Okay, so yeah, Patrick is right. You're comparing one gaffe that Trump made, and it was a gaffe. I'm not going to deny that. But one gaffe from Trump versus like 3 gaffes per every single Biden speech. I mean, every single day he does a speech, you get something like that, right? So it's apples to oranges. It really is. But so you're going to use that one time Trump said something stupid or gaffed or whatever and say that means he has more dementia than Biden? Well, do the math. Patrick is always about the data. Do the details. Biden gaffes where he just totally gets confused or says someone's name wrong or, those types of things versus Trump. I guarantee you're going to get way more out of Biden, right? But,
No, you can't even, he can't even go through his speeches.
Yeah, this whole subject, I feel like, is kind of the red herring of the election. It never engages me that much because, I know who Biden is and I know who Trump is. We've both seen them a lot. And, yeah, they're both not at their life's peak for them. And it's sort of baked in, and I don't think, does it really make me think that it's affecting how Biden makes decisions and runs the country? No, it's not. He doesn't look good running for president. He doesn't look good, publicly as president. That's not the important part of being president. The important part of being president is the decisions you make in small rooms where there aren't people around to look at you stutter and where you're not as nervous and where you don't have to make a speech. You can just listen to advisors and use your wisdom. That's the key part of being president.
You think he does that?
Biden. By the way, I'm just going to say this. Keep in mind what Bill said about that for later when we react to the Gavin Newsom debate. Okay, so I might not say it. I might not remember about it. But keep that in mind when we talk about Gavin Newsom. You'll see the irony in that statement. But
yes, absolutely.
You really believe he does that?
What do you mean you really believe? Like it's like a mechanical. Yes, people really believe it. Like half the country thinks he's done a pretty good job. Being fair, giving what you're dealt with as president and then where we are. Really? What is so hard to believe? Excuse me. About, I think Biden did a good job because the economy went in the toilet because we're losing a lot of our own troops overseas. No, things are fucking good.
We just did lose our own troops overseas. That's what's ironic. It was last week?
Do you think things are good?
Oh, Jesus.
So, Bill, that's the part.
What are you worth?
What am I worth?
Yeah.
I was worth plenty before Biden. Biden didn't do the money for me.
What are you worth now? Ballpark.
Few $100 million.
$100 million. But you're bitching things aren't good.
I'm not bitching. I'm not.
You said things aren't good.
Well, no. I'm not sitting here for me. My life's going to be good no matter who the president is. I'm not sitting here worried about my life. I don't think you're going to. I think you were fine under Trump. I think you're going to be fine under Bush. I think you're going to be fine under Obama. I think you're going to be fine no matter who. So there's going to be a percentage of people, no matter who is president, they're going to be fine.
I take your point.
Yeah.
The rich always. Yes.
I think those who bring value to the market and they have a niche, they're always going to do well. That's evergreen, right? But at the same time, when you...
So what was your niche that brought you that?
So they changed topic, like I said, but just quickly on that point, I think that shows part of Bill's problem because he always says this, the country's fine under Biden. What are you talking about? Well, of course, things are fine for you. You're a millionaire. And so is Patrick Bet-David, right? But Patrick can see outside himself. He understands what other people are going through. I think you can empathize with people's situations even if you're not in them. So Patrick is capable of that. I think a lot of rich people are. But of course, Bill is doing fine. And honestly, to tell you the truth, when you think about inflation and all that, I think a lot of, maybe not Bill's type of millionaires, but I think a lot of billionaires who run big corporations or companies or investment firms, no one denies they're actually doing much better under Biden because the inflation and how that hurts the consumer and kind of constricts them sometimes, that actually helps the rich even more. So I don't know. You know how it is with Bill Maher, constant Trump derangement syndrome. Let's skip ahead a couple minutes to continue this debate.
No, Biden's not done a bad job. Why do you think he has? What's so awful?
So when Trump was becoming
Just let him say it.
2016, when he was going to be president, everybody said World War III is going to get started. Do you trust him with the nuclear button? What if he starts this? What if he starts that? Everybody's like, oh my God, end of the world, war is coming. Everybody was worried about it. This guy's going to be a dictator. That's all mainstream media ever talked about. Then he's president, 2.5 years. Nothing. COVID then happens. Of course, things change. It was a surprise to everybody. Zero wars, zero issues. ISIS disappears. Temperature for war is down. Economy's doing well. Everybody's happy. COVID happens. Rather than choosing to, put the onus and the responsibility on China, what do? We put it on Trump. Trump's the enemy. Then Biden gets elected, and everyone's like, this guy's going to be the president of peace. Really? Yeah, okay, cool, let's see. He's going to be the one that's going to bring peace. Shambles with Afghanistan. Then you got Ukraine and Russia. Then you got Israel and Hamas.
Exactly. All those things were true under Trump. Good economy, world peace, relatively. Obviously, there's no 100% world peace, but closer to it. All that different stuff, trade deals, and then you get under Biden and it's all screwed up. It's pretty simple. I don't see how Bill Maher can't see that. But again, ivory tower, lives on Hollywood Hills, wherever he lives, right? That's how it kind of goes.
Get it. You're on the red team. I don't have a team like
It's not about the red team.
It really is, because it's so easy to pick apart Afghanistan. I feel like that's such a bullshit one. Yeah, did they stick the landing? No, they didn't. They did not stick the landing on Afghanistan. I'm not 1,000,000% sure that it would have gone differently. However they did it, whoever did it, but no, probably somebody could have done it in a more efficient way. What I know is he was the one who had the guts to do it, which needed to be done.
Okay, wait, hold on there. Okay, we need a little fact check of that. The plan to withdraw from Afghanistan was introduced by Trump. It was planned by Trump, not Biden. I think Trump wanted it May. Biden pushed it back to August or September, around there. And okay, fine. But I do sort of understand what Bill is saying. Truthfully, when I bring up Biden's foreign policy failures, I'm a guy for peace, relatively. More so, I guess I'm a guy for America first, and we shouldn't be stuck in these endless wars. So that's my stance. So I never criticize Biden for withdrawing from Afghanistan. And when I bring up foreign policy, I usually talk about the fact that wars have started around the world under Biden, not that we got ourselves out of a war. But with that said, when you talk about the specifics of withdrawing from Afghanistan, you didn't have to leave the Taliban our military equipment, which they're now not only using themselves, but especially they're selling to China, probably Russia, North Korea, places like that. That's just stupid, right? That just lacks common sense. Like Trump very often says about it. You don't take the military out first, you take the military out last, right? So, it didn't have to be as much of a disaster as it was. And truthfully, because we mishandled it so poorly, that partially is probably a reason why, for instance, Russia invaded Ukraine. Not the entire reason. I think it's a lot more complicated than that, but that is one of those reasons. So there's just, to clarify on Afghanistan, you say Biden was the only one with the balls to do it. No, it was a Trump idea, and Biden actually pushed back the date, but he did it. Fair enough. The criticism is not withdrawing. The criticism, which again, to me, when you compare all the other stuff with foreign policy, I don't hammer it home the most, but the criticism is you just did it so incompetently, okay? And our soldiers should not have died in the withdrawal from Afghanistan, but because you left the place such a mess, and then they're rushing out, and then there's a bomb at the airport, none of that stuff had to happen. I think that's the criticism.
Nobody else would rip off the Band-Aid. But just in general,
it was Trump's idea.
Trump was going to do it in May, and he was going to do it in a different way. So let me ask a question a different way with you.
Okay, but Biden's the one who had the harder job, which was making sure the economy didn't crash after the pandemic, which I thought it would. I said, how can you spend $6 trillion, more than we spent on World War II, in just a couple of years? And soft landing, I could give you the stats, but if Trump was president, you don't think he would be bragging about this economy?
Okay, see, again, there's the other sort of Bill Maher ivory tower moment. He's right that in terms of the formal definition of a recession or depression, we did not have that under Biden. I'll give him that. But I mean, inflation now, sure, is getting slightly better, but the past couple years, real ordinary people have felt it. It might as well be a recession because that's how it feels in the economy, right? Yes, unemployment is not that bad, fair enough, but the money is not taking us anywhere, right? The inflation has been the problem. I've never criticized Biden for unemployment. It's not particularly hard to find jobs in this economy. It's hard to get by in this economy. So for the average person, who's not just looking at the stat sheet or the stock market or whatever, you can feel the impact of the Biden inflation. But when you're Bill Maher, and this is the point I keep making, and you live in the ivory tower, you're like, the economy didn't crash, right? Whereas for, I think, a lot of ordinary people, it might as well have crashed under Biden. That's the truth.
And the COVID vaccine position you took, and you said you took one for the camp, you took one for the team, right?
Took one for the team.
Right. So you took one so you didn't want to take it for the team.
I mean, that's being a little more charitable than I deserve. I did take one for the team, right, but I also did it for myself, because if I hadn't have done it, I just could not have lived my life. They wouldn't have let me within 20 feet of the building that I work.
You think that's okay?
No, I don't.
Yeah, but that's the position.
No, I don't. I resent it.
Yeah.
To this day. But I also, again, believe in some level of compromise. And that was mine.
Okay, so they're about to continue the vaccine debate, and Patrick Bet-David. I know I skipped around a bit because, like I said, there's all these different tangents we got to comb through there. But he's sort of bringing this up. It's like, you're so pro-Biden and, but you were so anti the vaccine mandates, and he did that, right? OSHA, all that stuff. So that's where this whole debate is headed next. But really quickly, I do kind of want to just point this out, which is Bill is right that Hollywood sort of would have coerced him to take the vax. However, to pretend like he really had no choice, and I guess this is sort of part of the problem with Bill very often, is he's right about some things, but he sits on the fence and he doesn't really get it or whatever, right? You're Bill freaking Maher. You have one of the biggest shows on HBO, one of the biggest talk shows generally in the world. If you really didn't want to take that thing, you could have worked out something with a network, okay? You tape your show in California, you could have taped it in Arizona or Texas or Florida or Tennessee, whatever, right? It's show business states. But, Bill just sort of sat there and took it. This is the problem on a greater level with Bill Maher. It's like he constantly complains about the modern left and where they've come from, but then he'll still support them and he'll still vote for them. So that's the frustration, I guess. But Patrick is about to get into that with him. So let's get into this.
I think the left falls below 200 level of consciousness because it's a lot of force. And we know what's right for you, and you don't. There is no reason on the left.
Oh, sweetheart, you are preaching to the converted here. I'm always bitching about this. I do not.
You're supporting Biden, though.
Of course, because we only get two choices. I mean, what is so hard to understand about bad and worse?
They forced America to take the vaccine bill. 70% Americans took the vaccine and they didn't want to take it. A lot of them didn't want to take it.
Wait a second. When did the vaccine come about? Under Biden? No, under Trump.
No, it didn't. It came 2 days after election was over with. 2 days after election was over with, Pfizer announced it was not under Trump.
Oh.
They intentionally kept the vaccine after the election, so they gave the victory to
Biden. But Trump was not anti. Trump was like, I created the vaccine.
I don't disagree with you. I agree with you. He takes it as a victory. I'm on the same page with you.
Okay, but...
And look, that's been a criticism of every conservative with Trump. However, Trump has never been in favor of vaccine mandates. He's never once advocated for that. Whereas Biden not only was in favor of them, the states doing them and the schools, all that, he did the OSHA mandate that basically was going to try to mandate the vaccine on every employee of a major company in this country. So that was Biden. So,
there's a difference.
Again, apples to oranges.
Bill. But I say this? May I say this and then push back? Here's the difference. You know what the difference is? How many times have you heard Trump get on stage and brag about warp speed? We saved 100 million people's lives,
Can I just ask you a simple yes or no question?
Yeah.
Not exactly yes or no, but who are you voting for?
I'm voting for whoever allows me to make decisions more and not somebody that decides what's good for me or not.
Bro, we're not in a debate here.
No, the left.
I asked you a yes or no.
Vaccine.
Wait a second.
The state of California and the industry you're in force you to take the vaccine.
So you don't know who you're voting for?
I'm voting for whoever allows me to have more freedom with the choices I make.
And you don't know that yet?
It's definitely not going to be Biden.
Well, then it would be Trump, wouldn't it?
If it's between the two choices?
What? But look at you.
Are you kidding me? It's not even a close call, by the way.
But the fact that you just can't own it is very weird, man. You know, this like, who are you voting for? Well, the Constitution says it's 2 words, Trump, Biden. I'm voting for Biden. I'm owning that. Do I think he's perfect?
But I don't,
no.
But I don't think it's like that.
Not even,
I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like that.
Just say you're for Trump.
If a person watches my...
I don't dislike you for your... I don't dislike...
Bill, if somebody watches my podcast, they're going to know who I'm voting for.
Well,
if somebody watches a podcast, they're going to sit there...
But how odd that you can't just say it then.
Because to me, I'm voting based on values. I'm not voting based on...
Okay, but we know what the values are of Biden and Trump and their policies
You're right.
are. We know everything
the
about
left
them.
Is about...
So I think what Patrick's trying to do there is sort of make a point, and maybe as a talk show host, he doesn't want to say who he's voting for, which, you know, some hosts choose to do that, especially on TV, although Patrick is not on TV. I've never done that. I'm going to vote for Trump. I'll tell you right now, Patrick is going to vote for Trump. But whatever. That's to explain
the
what
right
was
is about
happening.
Choice. I don't want to be forced to have to do something I don't want to do.
I get that. You seem to think that is the sunum bonum of all political issues. It is a very important one to me. There are other ones.
Such as what? What's above force versus freedom?
Crazy person in the White House?
Okay, here we go again.
Again, well, it's my opinion.
That's
it's my
right.
vote. It's all, just like it is yours.
Okay, so it's just more Trump derangement syndrome, which I just remembered, by the way. I think the reason Patrick explained he's not going to say who he's going to vote for is because he's sort of traumatized from being in Iran in terms of saying that publicly. Now, in fairness, it's like, I think you'll be fine, Patrick, but okay, it is what it is. TDS by Bill. Let's get into the last clip here, the Gavin Newsom clip that I promised everyone, and then just call this a video because it's obviously gone on pretty long, and it's just a bunch of Bill Maher rambling. But here we go.
Look, I wish it was a different.
Do you like Newsom? How do you feel about Newsom?
Had him on my show Friday.
I saw that,
and I first of all, I love him. You just like a guy or you don't. I've known him for a long time. He's done my show for a long time. Do I love everything he does as the governor of California? No, I don't. I wouldn't say I'm undertaxed. I have issues with this state. He's a guy. One reason I want him to run for president, well, is because he's obviously a winner. This guy could fucking do it. It's insane that we have the guy, but we can't run him because we have to tiptoe around Biden and
define a winner.
Well, he would win the election.
Oh, so
he would win the election.
He's a talented debater, speaker, communicator, deflector,
and politician, and he's a smart guy. He's a smart, real guy with a pair of balls. Do I love everything? No, you never do with a politician. But first of all, I think if he ran for president, it'd be great because it would force him to move to the center. Now you're running not just in California. I mean, this is California. It's weirdo.
Are you a results-driven guy?
No, I like to watch things fall apart.
I mean, you wouldn't build a show that you build and win at the levels you won, for decades if you weren't results driven, right? I mean, you're Bill Maher. What
do you mean? What's the point about results?
Exactly where I'm going with you. So results driven guy.
Right.
What areas has Newsom won in? You said he's a winner.
Winner of the election. He could win the election.
But based on what, though? Do you want results? Like, what has he done to California to say he's a winner? What?
Oh God, I don't know. It's too.
Bill, you're a smart.
You know what?
Guy.
He made it rain. Okay, dude.
No, wait. Watch that again. Sorry, I talked over it. Okay, listen to Bill says he likes Gavin Newsom. Basically says he's a nice guy and he's charismatic. Patrick asked a very logical question, which is, what results do you like from Gavin Newsom that say you want him to govern the country? Listen to Bill's actual response.
I don't know. Oh God. I don't know. It's too.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. And then he makes a joke about how he made it rain because for context, it's raining right now in California. And so it's sort of, it's a tongue in cheek joke, right? But Bill Maher, and I actually made a video about this last month. You can go watch it, about how Bill believes this and it doesn't make any sense. Bill Maher says he wants Gavin to run for president. And I understand that from the electoral perspective. Yeah, he's probably a more formidable candidate than Biden. I do think maybe some of that's a little overplayed, but better than Biden, sure. But the reason I pointed it out with Bill is, like, Bill, you always complain about California. You always complain about the woke and how this stuff goes too far, homelessness, whatever. And that's all Gavin Newsom's leadership. So you don't like Gavin Newsom's leadership because whether you realize it or not, you're constantly criticizing it. But then on the flip side, you say you want him to run for president. So notice that Patrick is the first guy to finally push back and ask the question I've been saying since last month when I saw the clip of him saying it, which is, what do you like about what Gavin Newsom has done or what he actually stands for that aligns with you? What is Bill's actual response? Quote, I don't know. And then he makes a joke about the weather. And if you watch the rest of this podcast, I won't play it for you, but I did sit through the whole almost 2 hours of it. Bill never gives an answer. Okay, actually, wait, play this really quickly, just so we can.
Bill, you're a smart guy.
You know what? He made it rain, okay, dude? It wasn't raining.
Someone you said that. He said, great job.
It wasn't raining, and now it's raining. So he's got my vote.
Okay,
you know what?
Respect. I mean,
I don't know. I don't follow the news. That's a character
Bill,
I play on television.
Don't deflect.
It's
You're a very smart guy. You're a very smart guy.
It's a character. I actually live with my delicate wife, Sue, and our 8 homeschooled children. We just had twins, Sean.
Okay, so Bill says he supports Newsom, but he has no clue why. He really doesn't even know what he's talking about. It tells you a lot, right? It's like Bill really, I guess that's the contrast of personality here, which is Bill is only voting on the vibe, which I'm not saying that doesn't matter at all. Like the personality, the image it portrays to the country, but especially in Bill's case, if you don't agree with Gavin Newsom's politics, frankly, basically at all, but you're going to support him because, oh, he's charismatic. How does that make any sense? Yes, charisma is a bonus of a politician. Sure. When you think about especially electability, it matters. But you don't vote for someone who's charismatic when they don't even align with anything you believe. And notice that Bill cannot explain why he actually likes or supports Gavin Newsom. So it just tells you a lot. But with that said, folks, this video is getting long enough. There are basically the highlights from the Bill Maher, Patrick Bet-David interview. I really wish we could have gotten more, but, you know, let's try to do this in reverse. How about that? I think that'd be a lot more interesting. Patrick, because I think he's a much better interviewer than Bill Maher, at least when he's stoned. Okay, when Bill is stoned and just whatever. We need Patrick to have Bill on the show, and maybe that'll be a more insightful discussion, okay, than this. But yeah, with that said, folks, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. If you watched the full podcast, what did you think? And until next time, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Alpha moves only. God bless. Have a very good day, and peace.